Hey, everybody. Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky. How y'all doing today? My guest with my co-host will be on shortly, but there's some things I need to get out of the way. So thank you to all of my Tea Time with Bunky followers and subscribers. Thank you to everyone who has been there through this journey from the beginning um, up until this present point. Those that are just learning about Tea Time with Bunky, welcome, enjoy the ride. Since Tea Time with Bunky has started, um, I have joined the Village Global Network. Shout out to the VGN. And since joining the VGN, it has been a roller coaster ride. It has been a roller coaster. Um, we're going to be talking about politics, but I just want to get some stuff out there before my guest gets back. A little bit about the journey. So, like I said, we started out as a podcast on your local, on your Facebook, YouTube. And I want you guys to all go and follow my YouTube and Instagram. Hey Jamie, happy birthday to Sierra. Shout out to my little cousin Sierra. And this is her little sister, little Jamie. Jamie, I have a job for you. I need something you to do something for me. But we'll get back to that. So, like I was saying, started out podcasting. I became a radio personality with the BGN globally, airing in 200 plus countries, which are Culture Shock Radio, Confidence Radio, Radio Facero, Wapter Music, and Gnarly FM. Those are all on the VGN. You can go download the VGN app and see all of that. And since then, I have recently, boom, 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 I have recently become a TV personality. Yes, Tea Time with Bunky and Political Tuesday will be airing on the DuPont Network. So I need you guys to go download the DuPont Network. Tea Time with Bunky will be debuting on the 21st, which is next week. Oh my God. The 21st at 2 p.m. on the DuPont Network. And Political Tuesday will be debuting on the 24th. So Tea Time is on Saturday at 2 p.m. Political Tuesday will be airing on September 24th at 2 p.m. on the DuPont Network. So thank you all, like I said, for being a part of this journey with me. It's so exciting. You guys have trusted me enough to share your stories, be vulnerable. And with that, when I say I do not take it lightly, I do not take it lightly. And I appreciate you all so very much. So let me dive into this. It is political. It's political, but it's not the debate. We're going to talk about that. But Mr. Javion McGee, rest in peace to Javion McGee, who people who don't know who he is. Now, I saw this story a couple of days ago, and then it was just brought back on my feed again. Javion is 21-year-old truck driver. He's a truck driver from Aurora, Illinois, right? From Aurora, Illinois. And he was found in Henderson, North Carolina, with a rope around his neck and the top hanging from a tree. So here's where it gets a little tricky. This happened on 9/11, when his mom wanted to identify him or see him. The Vance County Sheriff's Office and county's medical examiner gave her a really hard time with seeing him because they're like, oh, the state that he's in, they're trying to deem that it was not this is where the political part comes in, that it was deemed not to be a lynching. Anything with Black people with a rope around your neck and there's nobody around and you're hanging from a tree, that's internal trauma. Hey, Chris, shy to be here. I was talking about the radio, but I'm talking about Mr. Javon McGee right now. So, he was found sitting up. He was, the way they described him, his back was up against a tree, but he had the rope around his neck. And they're trying to say that it wasn't because it wasn't in a noose form, that it was kind of like a knot around his neck, that it wasn't a lynching. But they were giving his family a hard time with identifying him, seeing him. What do they have to hide? Um, yeah, if it was just that, then it was just that. And apparently they're saying that there's video. Now, mind you, he's a truck driver. There's video of him going into a local store buying a blue rope, which rope is a part of being a truck driver. According to his sister, his cousin, um, they buy that normally, but for him to go out of town and do this, it brings back this conversation that I had with another mother who was on my show, James, who in Mississippi, believe it was Mississippi. He's from Midwest. He went down there, and after 2 weeks of being down there, he was found in the same condition. Found in the same condition, and the police aren't giving her any answers, no questions. They're trying to rule out foul play. But like I said, when it comes to people of color, we're just not gonna we're not gonna hang ourselves. It just don't do that. Some may, not saying that you can dismiss it, but um, and it goes back to when you hear stories of this. Apparently, this county in North Carolina has a whole shebang of hate groups and anti-government groups out there. So it's not uncommon when you hear all the rhetoric, all of the hate speeches and different things that certain candidates are putting out there. Like we all heard, we laughed because it sounded straight ridiculous during the debate. We laughed when ear was coming unhinged, talking about they're eating your cats, they're eating your dogs, they're taking your pets, and he was talking about a Black community. That triggers, I don't want to say fear. To me, it just gives a certain group more fuel to their fire to go out and commit these hate crimes. And for those that are like, oh, well, it's not hate crime, do we have to go back to Emmett Till? Do we have to go back to Emmett Till? That's the one that opened up everybody's eyes. That was Emmett Till, who was dragged out of his uncle's house. For people who don't know the story, which I think everybody knows the story, everybody should know the story. He was dragged out of his uncle's house. He's from Chicago. He's just visiting his family down south. All right, shot. I got it. Hey, Kimmy. He was dragged out of his house by a mob because he allegedly whistled at a white woman. And the boy, he was a boy, he was 14 years old, was beaten to death, and a chain or something was put around his neck, and he was tied to a motor to one of those boats and thrown in a traumatic, whatever. Okay, so after this thing happened when I saw this thing with Javon, when I saw this thing with Javion, it brought up Edward Roach, and I'm like, okay, well, who is that? Who is Edward Roach? Okay, for those that don't know who Edward Roach is, Edward Roach apparently in 1920, apparently it's and it gets worse, Kim. Apparently on July 7th, 1920, he was a road worker. Edward, they call him Red. Edward Red Roach. So when they call somebody red back in the day, that means they were light skinned. They were light. They were light skinned. Apparently they're saying that this man assaulted a 13-year-old girl, Annie Chambers, which was a little white girl. So a mob got him. He was arrested. The mob came in. They couldn't find the keys or whatever, so they took like a torch. You guys, they took like a torch, got this man out of jail, beat him to death, hung him, and shot him. Okay, this is the rhetoric. This is the stuff that goes on. And then we hear about this other case. I've been following it for years. Mr. Kendrick Johnson, who was a football player, down there in Georgia. That's South, down there in Georgia. And they're trying to say that he took his own life and wrapped himself up in the gym mat, basically. But when all along, now, mind you, I've been following this story for years. He got into it with people that used to be his friends because he was better than them on the football team. And when you look at the photos, there was no way he can wrap himself up, and the way the mat was, get in the mat with the blood all over the place. And they wouldn't let his mother identify him either. They couldn't find him. I think he was in the gym for like 24 hours. He was in the gym in the mat. Um, a little more, give or take. But they're saying he committed, took his own, ended his own life. But yet he had bruises all over him. His face was totally distorted. And we know, some of us know, like when you pass away, the blood pools in a certain spot. Well, that's not what happened with Kendrick, if he did what they're trying to say that he did. But the kicker was, they wouldn't let his mother, they wouldn't let his family identify him. And by the time they got him, by the time the coroner or whatever got him, his organs were gone. His organs were gone. The organ is still unaccountable for to this day, and he's been exhumed several times for different autopsies. And his body, with his cavity, was stuffed with newspaper. The boys that were involved with this are not involved with this. Father was the head sheriff of this county. I think it was 3. They were white. He was black. They went on to go to college until everything started coming out, and then they lost their football scholarships. But yet this mother is still crying for justice and answers today. Okay. So, and then, I mean, should we go on? We have Trayvon Martin. And what I'm saying, the political thing about all this is these dog whistles that's being thrown out there by the current candidates. One side, with the people with Haiti. I mean, well, not Haiti, the people that they're saying they're eating their dogs and their cats. And this man was allowed to say these things on national television in front of the world to see. And those hate groups that are out there, they just take it as their little sign, boom, 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 that they can go out there and hurt someone who doesn't look like them. So I said all of that political, but I just wanted y'all to know the story of Javon McGee, 21 years old, from Aurora, Illinois. May he rest in peace, and his family get justice. May Kendrick Johnson's family get justice. Emmett Till, we know there's never justice. The woman that made the accusation just recently went to her grave. She said that he didn't do it, but nothing was ever done. And Mr. Edward Roach, who I would have never known anything about if this thing didn't happen to Javion. So you people in the South, more so, but not around me, y'all be safe. Y'all be safe out there. Today is National Registration Day. So if you're not registered to vote, I don't know how late you have, maybe 11:59 or whatever. Listen, like I said, I have a QR code for every single state. If you're not registered, you don't know how to register, hit me up. I can send you the QR code. And all you have to do is boom, take the picture and register. Hello. Hey, Sonia. You guys, Sonia's on my show on October 3rd. Boop, boop. It's going to be a big one. So you guys get out there and register so that you can vote, be informed. My guest tonight, we're going to dive into the craziness of the election. That debate. I mean, the debate. We're going to be talking about the policies, the tension, the future of America. What do you guys think? Whoever watched it, while I'm waiting for my guest, I'm curious to know your takeaways on basically what I just said. Everything that I just said. And while you're trying to figure that out, I need you to go and download the DuPont network so that you can catch your girl and support her and all the other VGN, all the other VGN people out there. Congratulations to everybody who's out there doing the TV journey. It's not easy. Kimmy K and Senior, but Kimmy is doing like that hard work, making sure everything is getting done for us, so that we can go out there and have our voices heard, share your stories, um, and the things that matter most to you. Um, Thinking about it, I'm talking about all these people that I don't know. Still, there's no justice for Marvin Gibbs right here where I live. They still don't know what's going on with his case. Marvin's been missing, I think, believe it was 1984, missing since 1984, and his mother went to her grave not knowing what happened to her baby, young black boy. People that were in position at the time are still in position. Drink my tea. They still in position and lying, and nobody's doing anything. But I'm hoping and praying that behind the scenes and all my talking, that somebody is looking into Marvin's case to give his sister some answer. It's still 50-50 American electoral. And which is crazy. Sonia, how can it be? How can it be 50-50? Everybody's watching. We're not blind. You see what's going on in front of your face. You see what's going on. So how is this election so close right now? I mean, they're bugging. Now, we know if that was, I say it all the time, if that was my president out there, President Obama, he would have either been in jail, or they would have been threw him off of being one of the candidates. But this man gets away with whatever he wants. I don't even know if I want to talk about this. Listen, this situation. Wait a minute, Shy, because I gotta mention, what policies were you interested in? Wait. This situation. 1 second. And we're back. This situation that recently happened on the golf course. I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know. I have my own take on it. And I hate that I am so opinionated on this, because I try to be biased when it comes to politics. I try not to have a side. People still don't have faith in Kamala. No, they don't have faith in her. But Vanessa, my thing is, how do you see and hear what's coming out of his mouth and his running mate's mouth and just think it's okay? What if you saw the debate? If you watched the debate, okay, Kamala was detected as one lie. He was detected as having 33. The man was bugging. He was bugging out. Those states that are not informed only watch him. They do no research. Fox News. You're right. They only watch Fox News. And I've learned, even no matter how hard it is for me, I watch all of them and I catch them on YouTube. I even Google some of his stuff just to see. And to be honest with you, 100%, I can't even watch the whole thing, because I listen to what's coming out of his mouth. Like, they talk about the guns. They were talking about the guns and the weapons, right? How he was saying on a platform, straight line, she wants to take your guns, she wants to take your weapons or whatever. And she shut him down and said, I'm a gun owner. It's not that she wants to take weapons away. She wants to take these AR-15s or whatever they are. I don't know what they're AR, the rifles, which I think that was used on a golf course too. I think. I don't know. Because I don't know. I honestly, my opinion, y'all, I don't know if it happened. Thank God. If it was a true attempt, thank God that he was protected and this man didn't lose his life. Nobody ever, because I want to see the election. I want to see the election. Um, but personally, I think that, I mean, there's a lot of hate out there, and people don't like the things that he's saying and the things that he's doing. So, okay, they may respond in the way that he's telling people to respond. Because y'all hear he's telling people what to do. His vice president said that there have been no attempts on the other two. Why would you say that? Why would you say? Personally, I think it's to try to get a boost in the polls. It's a sympathy vote. But if y'all go ahead and do a sympathy vote, personally, I think we're doomed. They talked about the threats to democracy, threats to our democracy in the debate. Um, he wouldn't be get if he was in jail. But you know what? Privilege that people, he seems to be above the law for some reason. I don't know why. Because, like I said, if it was my president, he would have been underneath the jail already. But they allow this man to do and say whatever he wants. And then when somebody says something about him, oh, they're picking on him. Oh, they shouldn't say that. They shouldn't. But you're talking about a whole group of people who are now targets because you're saying they're coming for your pets. But that's okay. Make it make sense. Doesn't make sense. But um the threats on democracy, Kamala Harris continually called out his threats, referring to his criminal indictments and his January 6th insurrection, which he denies all responsibility. He says he has nothing to do with it. But like I said, you see what you saw. Everybody was home. It was during COVID. We're all home watching the news in awe, saying, is this really happening right now? And you see him up there with his nice dress coat on, not telling them to stop it. He waited so long until this thing got so out of hand and continued to fan his base with all the hate and everything. Yeah, I'm scared that he may get away with it. Yes, question it. The vice president nomination said he made up the Haiti stuff. Yeah, he said a fear of Black America. We elected Obama twice. South Riding. He's he did say that. It came out of his mouth that they do make stuff up sometimes. Really? And that is a whole group of people that don't feel safe because this clown want to make something up. And then the person who's supposed to be running ahead of him is repeating the shenanigans coming out of his mouth. Make that make sense. It doesn't make sense. So he's going to deny everything. But I need y'all to look close, please. Just look at what's going on. Listen to what he's saying. Then they talked about the immigration, which was a central topic. He's still using inflammatory rhetoric about immigrants and accusing Biden of his administration of failure. And Harris countered by criticizing Trump for blocking bipartisan immigration reforms and promised to take a more balanced approach to the issue. Now, they're calling the Haitians immigrants, and they're not. That's crazy. They're not. As we all have heard, when he describes immigrants, he says the worst of the worst, basically the bottom of the barrel, and they're sending all of their gang members and people committing crimes, they're sending them all to America. Like, these are the type of things that he's saying. And when he describes them, they're all from countries where the people are Black and brown. What is that saying? That's giving his base. And he's doing these hand signals now, like these. I saw him. I'm not going to do it. He was doing some kind of new hand signals. Like, what is that? And people aren't watching. They're not paying attention, this fear of Black people is crazy to me because personally, I think we're like the kindest people ever. Why? Because we always have to walk on eggshells, and you can deny it or not. We are always walking on eggshells. I think it is the anti-feminists who are in favor of Trump. I don't even know because there's a lot of women that are for him. Um, white women that are for him. Why? Why are they for him? I don't know. The man brags of overturning Roe v. Wade. He brags about that. And then in another step, because he always backpedaling, talking out of both sides of his neck, saying that no, he didn't, the person has a right. And he talked about that on the platform. He's like, oh, they're killing the babies up to 9 months, after 9 months. After 9 months. That's a whole baby. That's a crime. That's murder. Stupid. But people still gonna vote for him. And he's saying all of this crazy stuff. And people still gonna vote for him. He's a well, what he did. Wait. Hold that thought. Wait a second. There we go. Okay, I'm sorry. He's a traitor for what he did January 6th. He should be running for his life, not for president. You're right, but we already know. I don't know how I just changed my background. I don't even know what I just did. But we know that that's not going to happen. He has a strong base. It doesn't matter what he says. It doesn't matter what he does. I don't even know how to get out of this. It doesn't matter. I don't even know how to get out of this. He's going to get his way. So let me stop by myself. Let me bring my guest on. Hopefully, hi.
What's happening? How you feeling? How you doing?
My blood pressure's up that quick.
Oh man, cut it out. Cut it out. What
Because
happened?
I was just talking about the babies just now. How he said, they're killing the babies. Doing the abortion up until 9 months and after. Yes, white women are sometimes anti-Black women getting things that are entitled to. Right? Yeah. I saw this thing on TikTok. Dear Black women. It was a white woman. I don't know if you saw that. Dear Black women. She was addressing Black women, and basically she called herself going off on us. Some men don't want a woman to be president. You're right. Some don't, and I don't know why. Shy. How do you feel about that?
Uh, about a woman being president? I have no
Yeah.
problem with a woman being president.
Right.
I
What's the
think
big
we
deal?
need change. I think we definitely need change. I think we need more. I think we don't need no 70-year-old or 80-year-old white males being president. So
No. Mm-mm.
I'm all for it.
Especially what now? You weren't on, but Sonia had mentioned. Um, you remember? You probably heard it where Vance had said that he made up the thing about the Haitians eating the dog and the cats.
Oh
You
yeah, I
heard? Did
seen
you?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen
And
that.
they still running with it.
Yeah, of course they're gonna run with it. I mean, what else are they gonna run with? That's it. What I mean, for me, that they don't have anything else to go on.
Hmm.
So,
Besides putting
it,
those hate speeches out there, those hate
well,
lies.
it's deflect,
Yeah.
and there's no policy that they have. There's nothing where they're showing that whatever they're doing is going to be beneficial
No.
for the country, or even anything more different than what they've already done.
Because Kamala asked him that when she was talking about the health, she was talking about making Obamacare better, and Trump, oh God dog it, I said his name, said that he wanted to do something much better. Because what Biden and them are doing is horrible or whatever. She's talking about how everybody should have health care, which everybody should have health care, like Canada, right? Canada, everybody has health care. And when she asked him, then what was his plan? Basically, he said he didn't have one, but he had come up with one, basically.
He said he had concepts of plans.
Yeah, he had, yeah, he had,
And it was funny because I think they brought it up that he was actually interested in keeping some
yes, concepts.
parts
What, I
of
won't. The
Obamacare, the
okay.
Affordable Care Act,
Yeah.
and and whatever else, he'll get rid of. And in other words, he doesn't have a plan. It was the
He
same
doesn't
thing
have a
when he
plan.
did when he kept talking about infrastructure week. And it was like, yeah, every week was infrastructure week during the 4 years, but nothing got done. And to the debate. Well, first, hold up, I gotta clear up one thing.
Okay, let's clear it
Somebody,
up.
yeah, my homie, we had a whole discussion. I'm talking about maybe like 6 hours. And he was watching the show and he really was upset that I said that I was a conservative voting Democrat. So I am not a conservative. I believe I'm an independent.
Okay.
After having this conversation, I guess.
Right.
I
Yeah,
guess.
I'm an independent. I'm registered Democrat, but I vote for who speaks to me. What
Yeah,
policies and what you're talking
absolutely.
about, and I'm yeah, but I'm registered Democrat.
And I wanted to clear that up. I have ideals that conservatives have that are
Hmm.
cool, and I have
Right.
ideas that liberals have that are cool.
Right.
So it all fits to what fits my morals and principles. But I had to clear that up. The debate, there was two things
Okay.
where I felt that Kamala, I was really like it was like a setup for her. And it was the one was the very first question, and he was like,
'Cause that's the
is
one
the
that she
country
missed. That's
is the
why she didn't
country in a
answer.
better position than it was 4 years ago? And
Right.
then she went off and she was saying what she wanted to do. And I felt like, she missed the opportunity to say absolutely, you know?
Republican registered Democrat. Yeah, it
Okay,
makes
I get
sense.
that. I get
Yeah,
that.
it's like
And
the
Sonia,
most.
we're gonna have a talk. I might you know what? We should get Sonia on the show and my other friend on the show too, because he's gonna want to debate that. And it's gonna be because he feels like if you're of us, if you're black and
Uh-huh.
knowing the history, that it's very hard to align with the ideology
Of
of today's
democracy.
Republican.
But
No, of today's
uh,
Republican. So when you say you're a Republican, it's hard. Now, I went and told him, the parties were reversed before, but he was
right.
like saying, knowing what it is today.
But that my thing to that Sonia's going to be on. Look, she got to make her debut. She got to show out. She'll be on October 3rd. But the thing is, knowing what we know about both parties right now, per se, nobody represents anybody. At the end of the day, right now, you have to go by. I'm feeling like your morals, what the people stand for. I mean, policies, it's all muddied right now. It's all muddied. But at the end of the day, how do you, with a clear mind and conscience, put this crazy person back in position? How do you do that? How do you, I mean, really, like, you're going to tell me that the policies and stuff aren't all muddied up right now? Everything, nobody's looking
Well,
at
what
that.
policies are muddied up? He doesn't have any policies.
No,
Trump himself doesn't have any policies. So you can't say the policies are
I
muddied
was
up.
taught that Democrats are for the poor and middle class people. Well, I'm poor middle class.
Well,
Let's just keep
I
it.
mean,
But I'm not poor. That's you know, I'm not.
to
I'm
go
not that 1% either. So
yeah, to go to really dig down deep into what the parties were, what they were established,
yeah,
and how they've changed and evolved and become what they are today is going to take like 2 or 3 shows.
yeah. And
But
the
in
show now
today's
ends at 6:45.
absolutely, but and in today's climate, it's you got. This is how I feel.
Right.
You have to understand what's happening now. So when you align yourself with a group or a certain situation, you got to understand their principles now. You can't go by what their principles were 100 years
Back.
ago
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you
or
can't go by what it
started.
used to
You
be.
gotta
Yeah,
you gotta go by what it stands for now. And
and
if you disagree with what it stands for now, then maybe you should back away. The same
exactly.
guy that I was having this conversation with about politics, he was a predominant gang member,
Uh-huh.
gang leader. And
Okay.
he was like, when I started, this is what it was. In today's climate, this is not what this is what it is. And I don't
Hmm.
stand for none of that. So I separate myself from that. You
Okay.
get what I'm saying?
I
So,
respect it totally. Yeah.
yeah, so it's the same situation. But back to the debate. I thought the debate was definitely entertaining, especially when he said he showed Abdul the picture of his house, and Abdul said, "Why are you showing me that?"
Wait.
And I
Okay. Go
and
ahead.
Abdul said, "Now we're back." And Abdul said, you know why I'm showing you the picture of his house. I appreciate the realness of it for entertainment, but there's no way in the world I could make a conscious decision to vote for Donald Trump. Like, how could you really, really, really think that there's enough guardrails, there's enough of an institution
Need to know all the history
to keep
of
him
America's little
straight?
secret. We were tolerated until we achieved right what they believe they entitled. This is a country built on immigrant. It is, and that's what people forgetting. America is the country of immigrants. We
Hmm.
this belonged to Native Americans, and we black people, most of us, some came on their own, but most of us was dragged over here. And then you have other people that came willingly. Everybody came. Everybody came here,
Hmm.
not legally. So that my grandmother was born here. Well, her mother probably wasn't. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but that's the melting pot. That's what America should be. The Statue of Liberty used to mean something. Like that was the welcoming thing for people when they okay, I'm in America. Like, but
But
they
you
don't
know what
see
that is too,
that.
Bunky? Nah, but you know what that is too, and what stinks about the whole situation is that look at that period of time when we were welcoming in immigrants. Ellis
Mhm.
Island was flooded with people. It was
Yeah,
we were a nation trying to become a super nation.
yeah,
So of course, give us your week, give us your tired. You get what I'm saying? We're gonna,
yeah.
we're gonna build together, everything. And now, hundreds
That
and
was never
hundreds and
for
hundreds
us.
of years
Yeah,
later,
yeah.
this is what happens. So now it's like, okay, now that we have this and we are a superpower, maybe we need to be selective on who we let enjoy what we made here, if
And
that
that's
makes
not
sense.
what America. It makes a lot of sense, but that's not what America was built on. But these
But that's
people,
concepts. That's all concepts,
because
Bunky.
they need factory workers.
Nah, they needed factory workers. I mean, that
But
was the
back in
same. I mean, you remember why the Civil War was fought? It really wasn't about slavery to an extent. It was about what America was the change America was taking. They had to pay state
certain
tax
people,
in
yeah,
each. Yeah,
yeah,
it was a lot. It was a lot, but slavery was just a part of
right.
like a 10-part reason of why the Civil War happened. But this is America. This is the country that we live in. This is where we decide to
This is a slave
to.
nation. Why did slaves arrive? But all slaves weren't black in the beginning. In the beginning, all slaves were not black until they realized. Because I had looked this up until they realized, I guess, the strength, and they were able to fool the country. They were able to lie to the Africans. They had someone who was like biracial go over there and he depicted an image of what America was. So they like sold us. When I say us, because my DNA, I'm basically 70% Nigerian or something. And yeah, Nigerian. And they sold us by going off of what this man said into slavery so they can get their little funds. And I don't think that they thought that it was forever, a lifetime bid. That's what the colonizers meant. It was a lifetime bid for us. They did not ever want us to succeed. And so that's when we became prosperous and the Black Wall Street, and we were doing we were doing so well. That's why they came in and destroyed us, because that was never the plan. So they had white people as slaves, and till the black man came, till they brought us over, and then that was it. And then their plan for us was to be just that, working for them all of our lives. And like Red Roach, you wasn't here when I mentioned him. I had no idea. Do you know who he is? Did you ever hear
Uh,
Edmund Red Roach? I never
no,
heard of this man.
I heard a little bit of what you were saying.
Yeah, I would have never known. I was like, what? But it all stemmed on, they said, I don't know if it happened or not. Maybe it did. Hopefully it didn't. But he tried to assault a 13-year-old white girl. This was in the 20s. Come on. We know what it is. And it's terrible to feel that way.
Yeah, but
I said it
see,
could
the
have
thing
happened.
is,
I said it could have happened. You never know. We
because
wasn't there. I don't know.
we dealing in the age of Puff Daddy now, so
Look,
this is the same guy who just
I
got a
didn't
key
need,
to the city last year. He
well,
just got a key to the city last
I
year.
saw his creeper vibes from making the band. From making the band. You can see when he made them walk
Oh
across that
man.
bridge, I knew it was over for him. I knew he was a special kind of evil. But doesn't take away from his music. Like, he's just evil, and now he's caught out there. But will that ever happen to Trump? Will he ever see his just reward? Will he ever? Will he?
Well, I mean, think about
He had to bring Diddy anyway.
what what did uh what did she say? He was fired by 81 million. It's only a matter of time before it catches up to you.
That
Right?
crushed his whole soul.
No, what crushed his whole soul is when she said people walk out of
But the
your
people walk out of his
rallies,
rally.
yeah, because they tired.
He
When
was
he
like,
said once he said the rallies, that's when he became unhinged, and then everything after that was just it was a horrible outing for the Trump and the Trump campaign. I don't see a way that he can win.
well, I do. I do. Because there's so much hate out there.
You really believe? Do you
I
really believe
do.
that there's more people in the country who believe that Donald
It
Trump,
was not all black. Okay,
not
no,
all
I'm listening
blacks,
to
but
him again.
okay,
The whole concept of New World.
more people believe Donald Trump
Sir.
is capable of
Yeah.
running the country than more people that don't?
No, it's not. No. And that's the thing. They don't think that he's more capable. They know he's bugged out. They know that. But he is an older white man who they think, and we saw it on your show. It wasn't your show. It was Finally TV. There was someone that was in the comments going back and forth. They think that he's this big successful businessman because that's what he put out there. So they don't know the craziness behind the real Donald Trump. They don't know that his wife is buried on the golf course, covered up without no tombstone, and they don't know that crazy side of him. So it's like they're just going to go with what he says and the crazy things that he does because they don't want a black woman who he just found out she was black. I didn't know she was black. He just found out she was black.
Yeah, but nah, I got more faith in humanity and more faith in Americans to believe that we're all watching the same person. I don't care how. Yeah, I don't care how you want to dress it up. It's getting to the point now that you can't even dress it up.
No, you can't.
Like you can't. There's no way. Like if he says one more time that they're really eating cats and dogs in Springfield, like it's already been debunked by everybody, even the guy who started it.
Yeah,
even the guy who started it. But I guarantee you on
Yeah.
Facebook, you can find something that will say no. People are really saying this, and then he'll run with that.
He is, and I hate to do this, but we have to end, you guys. The show now ends. It's only 45 minutes long, but we will continue. We're gonna pick this back up. You know, we're gonna pick this back up. So you guys absolutely make sure you tune in. Tune in, tell a friend, like, share, follow, subscribe. 6 p.m. on Tuesday, Political Tuesday with Bunky and Shad. Bunky and Shad. Political Tuesday. Yeah, we're here having these conversations. Next week we have a special guest who's running for Assemblywoman. But then after that, we're just gonna pick this right back up and we're just gonna be having this conversation. Sound like a deal?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you all have a wonderful night. I appreciate you. Go download the DuPont Network. You can catch a girl on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 Tuesdays and Saturdays at 8 no 2 p.m. I'm learning, y'all. I'm learning. Wait, let me get this out of here because I don't want anything. I don't be. Oh wow, there was a lot, but okay, I gotta get out of here. All right, y'all. Good night.